My guest today is Sukhvinder Kaur. Her new book is There is Light at the End of the Tunnel of Loneliness, From the Darkness of Loneliness to the Brightness of Happiness. She's a counselor with experience regarding physical and mental health and believes anyone can learn to manage feelings of loneliness, avoid illness, and be happier. She has spent 6 years volunteering with the nonprofit community Amigo in Southeast Kent, that's in the UK, and received an award for a contribution for helping people there. Today, we're going to talk about loneliness, what you can do if you are lonely, and if you're not lonely, how you can help to make the world a better place by reaching out to those who are and reminding them they're not alone. Welcome to my show, Sukhvinder.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. Hello.
To start, tell me about yourself and this nonprofit. I had to look it up. It's in England, right? And there you help people. It sounds like you help them with this loneliness issue. Did you go through loneliness yourself and then decide I can help other people by joining this organization, writing this book?
Yes, so so I had a very lovely childhood, brought up. My parents lovely brought me up very nicely. So when my marriage broke down in my adult life, that's when I experienced loneliness. Even though I had my family support around me, I had my community, workplace, my volunteer work, everybody was around me I could go to reach to support. But at night time, rather than me sleeping, I started to overthink myself. And as time went, I went to isolation and nearly fell off the edge. And I went to loneliness period, a very dark period at that time. So in my volunteer work, so when I went out my comfort zone, I wanted to find out, if there's any services support out there for lonely people like myself. And and I started to talk to my work colleagues there as well. And I started the volunteer work in the mental health charities where I live in England, where I help support on a weekly basis. I speak to all walks of life of various of people, just a general talking to them, how they are, so they can feel that every week there's somebody there over the phone, a connection, like a communication base, someone to look forward to speak to, so combat their loneliness. So during that time, and also my study of counseling psychology, I managed to find, also I went to my parents and I told them, I reached out to them as well. And even they were shocked as well to say that, you knew, we're always here for you, why had you felt that way, But it was just one of those periods of time, sometimes, even though when you've got people around you, you still can't manage to get that word, I'm feeling lonely and,
So it's not as simple as the lack of presence of people. Actually, come to think of it, it reminds me when I was a kid and I'd go to lunch at the school cafeteria. There are hundreds of kids and I feel lonely because I'm sitting at the table by myself. So it almost sounds like depression a little bit. It's in your head, but it's not in your head. There's people that say they're here for you, but what can you tell me more about? I'm looking for the words to describe what's really going on. Why are we lonely, and how did you figure out the solution? Maybe let's do that. What was the solution for this for you? How did you get out of your?
Well, the way I come out of it, I reached down to my parents, and my mother took me to my GP, our family doctor. So I expressed my feelings and thoughts, how I was feeling, and what's going around with me as well. So my GP referred me to see a counsellor. So through the services out there from the NHS in England, so I was quite fortunate to get this free support from there from the counsellor, a qualified counsellor. So that's when I got my support. Started to talk to somebody who actually knew nothing about me. So that's when I started to feel myself a little bit, that I've been heard and understood as well, and how I felt that time and why I felt that time. And Yeah, and then I started to, when I was researching outside, I started to talk to the community as well, all around the people to find out, have they ever experienced lonely? Do they know people who are feeling lonely? Do they know the services out there or things that they can do there for themselves to self-help? So all that, everything. So now I'm today living a very happy life. And I managed to combat my loneliness. So with all that experience and talking to people and my study as well and my volunteer work, I thought to myself, I wanted to, give him out the people needed help,
Yeah.
and I found that people doesn't know the support out there or things that they could do them for themselves as well. So this is when I created this self-help book. I wanted to give back what helped me, and I just wanted to give them to help themselves and live that they can live a happy life as well.
So back to, I was with you when you went, your general practitioner doctor referred you to a therapist, more or less, a counselor.
Hmm.
How did the counselor make things different that talking to your parents couldn't? And even backing up from there reminds me of a little bit about suicide, where what questions can you ask someone who doesn't have the courage or the parents to go to get a referral? Um, for example, the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, that's a new medical specialty. It recognizes this as an actual one of six of the most important things you do for your health, not to be lonely. And to which I'm like, well, how do you? Oh, it suggests that doctors should actually ask when they ask patients what their height, blood pressure and height and weight are. Ask them questions to determine if they're lonely, so they can recognize the loneliness and get them help because they don't know how to ask for it. What do you ask someone to see if they're lonely?
Was that sorry?
If you see someone, so what I usually do, I'm trying to solve the problem of loneliness.
Hmm.
So to break it down, I say, well, how do I first identify someone who is lonely? For me, it's real easy. I see someone on the street, I will always say hello. Always. I will not just stare at them and walk by. It feels weird. So for for people who, like you just mentioned, what if you didn't have your parents? You go to work all the time, you talk to people at work, but you're technically lonely. What can someone ask? And I'm basing this off of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. They're the ones suggesting this. I think it's a little bit long-winded again. I would just say, "Hi, how are you?" They're suggesting like doctors should actually assess if people are lonely, and because they won't say it. So how do you recognize loneliness in people, I guess is the question, so that you can help them.
Yeah, so basically, the main thing I will say when I was researching and when I went through is by when people, it's really hard for everybody to, it's a trust as well, the stigma around trust as well. Some people go through challenges where their trust is broken as well, in situation challenges times as well. Some people find, you might get judged if I put my word out there or somebody, I might get judged by somebody. Somebody might not understand me as well. So if you can't, if I would just say, like myself, I reached to my parents and I thought to myself, even though my parents might not understand because they haven't been through the same what I'm going through,
Mhm.
but let's put it out there, to my parents, because, I always, they're the loving parents, someone who they love me, unconditionally. So
Mhm.
rather me going out to the colleagues outside in the society going for help, my friend or somebody in the community, I actually reached my parents. So I just said to them, look, I'm feeling lonely. Even though you guys are here, I'm feeling so depressed,
Yeah.
I can't sleep, I'm overthinking, So they were quite shocked to be honest. But what I would say, the first thing to recognize somebody you feel you around your family or your friends or your work colleagues or anybody going past
Hmm.
that you interact with them daily, you see this person daily. The main key I would always suggest, if you know that that person is going to tell you, the way they're reacting, you can a lot of things can actually tell by body language.
Mm.
You
Okay,
know,
that's good.
yeah, but by body language, yeah, because when people start to doing things, doesn't normally you wouldn't recognize they would do something, or they saying something differently, or their impression, or they've actually, withdrawn. You see this person regularly, but suddenly they're not picking your phone up. They're making an excuse. Let's do this. This person's really outgoing, activity person, socialized person. Or suddenly they're making all the excuses not to interact with you. They're disconnecting from the social as society. So body language signs like that are really, really important to know. That somebody might be feeling a bit odd out of a character, and then you can reach out to find out what is going on. Are they okay? And that's when that person, can finally, say, okay, no, I'm okay, but I'm feeling this, So that gives a bit of a chance for them to know that this person's actually recognized there's something change going on with me. So body language is a really, really good, way of recognizing somebody's change in character.
Yeah. So then say you do recognize it and you go with your gut feeling. What do you do next?
And then, like, trying to, find out, if you know them really personally, or trying to spend time, are you okay? Find out, are you okay? Just make sure you reassure them, you know, yeah, here, I'm always here for you if you want to talk to me. I'm always here, so I'm not going to judge you, or I'm not going to, frighten you anywhere, or, but I'm here to support you. Just to make them reassure them, there is, I'm here for you anytime.
My neighbor says that to me, almost like when he says goodbye, he always says, "We're here for you, Dan." I'm kind of like, do I appear needy? Like it's kind of the opposite. If anything, I feel I have more resources than you.
Mm.
If somebody would need help, um, maybe that's though his habitual way of doing what we're saying is that's just a practice he has in leaving people who are somewhat strangers. We're not best friends, we're just neighbors, so to
Mm.
speak. So, um, like if you to tell your neighbor all the time, whatever you need, I'm here for you, you know, makes you wonder, makes you not feel so alone.
Yes.
If ever I need, like my car tire goes flat or I'm just having a really bad day, I suppose I could take him up on that. So that's what you're speaking of, kind of, right?
Yes, yes. So body language, if you don't, body language says a lot about somebody's character, a change
What's
of character.
Pacific body language? What's the body
Well,
language look like?
disconnecting, like making, if you're somebody, if you know somebody is a regular, activity, socialized person, outgoing, bubbly,
Hmm.
cheerful, always asking you guys, how they are, and always interacting, chatting, everything, and suddenly
Yeah.
you feel that, this person's disconnecting slowly, is that away from you, what is going on? Why are they doing that? Is there something wrong with, have I done something wrong,
Hmm.
or I need to find out? So someone slowly, slowly disconnecting from you guys, from normal. That's not normal, is it really?
Yeah.
There's definitely something going on in there. So disconnecting is a big sign that somebody's needs is something wrong there that you need to find out.
And what about the other people? I think there's quite a few of them. They're not disconnecting, changing different. They've been lonely for a long time. Maybe they're shy, they're introverts. Back to being the kid who goes to the lunchroom at school and he tries to find a table where nobody's sitting because he doesn't have any friends. And that happens at work too. You could go to work and just be the one person out, no actual social circle at work. How do those people come out of their shell, not be lonely? It's affecting their health. What do we as society do to help them?
Well, to be honest, yeah, life is a journey. We all live in one multicultural society. We all live in one society, and but our journey is all individual. We go through changes our own journey in our own pace. When we're going to feel lonely. Lonely could happen any time of our lives. But I would just say, to be honest, if because you might be feeling lonely, and you might be reaching out to make friends or connection with somebody, a completely stranger. So if you see somebody in that way, somebody sitting on their own at lunchtime or at work or at school, why don't you trying to reach out to that person and then trying to make good friends, make new friends, meet new people, so
Yeah, yeah, yep.
that would help you and that other person as well. So you're making yourself happy as well, making contributed to, new friends, meeting new friends, and that other person, you'd be quite surprised they're actually waiting for another person to connect with them as well. So yeah, so I think relationships work both ways, but it's good to know, good to find out, like making new connections, meeting new people. Why don't you make the first approach?
I
It
think you
might,
nailed it on the head.
yeah.
We keep hearing about awareness in America. I was reading about the Surgeon General new campaign. It's probably old news now to you, trying to get awareness out about loneliness. It's like suicide awareness. Like, so what? What do we do now? You nailed it when you said it's kind of like drunk driving. You take the car keys away from someone, you intervene with the person. As a society, all we have to do is go notice the lonely person, like you said, with the body language, the disposition, and say, hey, do you want to sit with us at lunch? It's that simple, right? But why aren't people doing that? Why do people that get locked in their social bubble, the people that aren't lonely, do you suppose they don't instinctively know this or maybe they don't care? Somebody told me, you know what, Dan, you're the only one that cares.
But yeah, we live in like I said, we live in a multicultural society that we all got individual thoughts and feelings. We're not all mind readers. We can't read everybody's mind, especially like, when we create, mental health, it's all associated around the mental health. And when it comes to the mind, you can't read everyone, you can't read, minds, because it's all inside the hidden, gender thing, isn't it? So we're not a mind readers, but we can do a little bit of slowly, step by step. If we could just approach, it might be you might not get a positive reaction from that person, but it's a step. So they will know that person. Yeah.
I think part of that is part mind reading is part of the trouble. You can never read somebody's mind, so the only way to know is to ask. Get out of
Mm,
your own head and ask, because the other person could be waiting for somebody. The other person could have just broke up with someone and want a lonely moment for this week or today. And you go, okay, thanks for asking. But I think getting stuck in your head trying to analyze is the person lonely or not, it only makes everything weird because then you're looking at the person staring at them. Are they lonely? I don't know. Like, why are you looking at me? Um, I don't know. I think it's more people are engaged on their phone, for example. Here's a
mm,
topic to cover. Often when I'm out by myself, because I just like to talk to strangers, meet people like you mentioned,
mm,
and people think I'm an extrovert. They have no idea. When it was lunchtime at school when I was a kid, I not only ate at a table by myself. When I was done, I would go and hide, so I didn't have to go out and play recess. One time, some kids found me around the corner, hiding next to the building, going, "We found you."
mm,
So when I say this, it's not like I'm an extrovert. You have to have the courage, right?
mm.
But okay, but so back to phones. What is your opinion, your thoughts on how to break this endemic we're in where it seems like you're in public and you want to talk to someone, but they're all on their phone?
I would just say, like, fine. Yeah, it's all media these days, isn't it? All media platforms, Facebook, Instagrams, it's all connection with the phone, all technology. People always on the phone,
Yeah.
they've got the phone 24 hours, with them as well.
Yep.
But you just, if you see somebody on the phone, constantly on the phone, 24 hours, don't even leave the phone, there's definitely something going on there as well. They're disconnecting themselves, from actually talking to somebody face to face, you
Yeah.
know and they're putting their head down, and that says a lot of things as well, because they might be just put their head down, but they might be nothing in that phone, but that's the way for them to disconnect from the society, from face to face react interaction with face to face people. But yeah, a lot of stuff is with the media as well, and also with the phones these days. But I will say, people, somebody who's on the phone all the time, you know why don't, and you feel lonely as well, Why don't you start connecting with the people that you've lost contact with? Ring them up, find out how they are. You'd be surprised they might be lonely and waiting for you guys to reach out. Make some group connections, WhatsApp groups, activities on their Facebook groups. So you're actually connecting. Make some group social groups on the website as well. So everything is on connection. But long as you're connecting with society, so you still don't feel alone, long as you're still connecting with people outside the community as well, on the phone as well. But phones is quite a lot of these days. Every single person, even from 11-year-old child, every single person's got a phone. But why don't you put that useful as well? Why don't you set up some group activities on there, group socialized groups on there, where you actually connecting, communication with each other as well. Set up some groups as well where you can actually meet new people, rather just in your phone, trying to disconnect from people and you're feeling lonely. Why don't you make it into a positive connection through your phone?
When I go out and say I'm going to a cafe or coffee shop and I want to talk to people because I like to meet people, uh, it keeps me probably from being lonely. It seems like not the right thing to do. I see people on, say, their computer working away or their phone working away or doing something. I actually break the 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 bubble by making waiting for the moment that I know they're going to hear me and know I'm speaking to them, and I go, "Are you working really hard today? You got a lot of work?" Or basically, what's so important that you have to get that done right now in the coffee shop? Or even better, in a non-critical way, what's up on your computer? Like sometimes I'm like, are you writing a book? Like, are you
Mm,
writing a research paper? What are you researching? What are you doing? What do you research? So I express interest in what they're doing.
mm,
Or if I can tell that they're just Googling, like, because they're bored and not, it's what people do. Say they're Googling pictures of whales. I don't know what. I'm just making this up. I know they're just spinning their wheels. They're there, but they're in the coffee shop, but they're not. I'll go, oh, cool picture of whales. You interested in whales? I would get into their head and open the conversation.
mm,
Sometimes, because I live in a place that's very touristy with people traveling, they will literally be trying to get some work done before they go on a hike or go on a drive someplace, a scenic drive. And I'll go, okay. But I learned something cool. I met somebody interesting, what they do for work, and I'll go, okay, how did you get done so you can get your work done? But most of the time, people are just, you look around like pick one. Um, Joe, Sally, they're all on their phones and computers, and none of them have that important thing to do. So that's what I'm talking about.
mm. Trying to find out, like you said, make that communication, break that barrier. Hi, how are you? Can I sit there if they're in the cafe? Oh, can do you mind me sitting here with you?
Perfect. Love that. Love that one.
I
Yeah.
don't like sitting in front of the window or there's too much noise for the children sitting in that other space there. So make that connection. That person might be surprised. Oh, yeah, of course. No one's sitting there. Sit down.
Yeah.
And then slowly build that. Oh, hi then. So I'm so and so. And
Yeah.
so, where are you? So, what's happening then? It's nice weather today or not weather nice day. Make a conversation, anything. Nothing is silly. If you're thinking, oh, if I say this, it made me be a fool. Nothing's a fool. Don't feel that way. Just make that connection. You'd be so surprised, even yourself, how much people, that person, you might be the first and the last person that they might speak all day as well. Even at the bus stop, you're waiting for the bus or traffic somewhere,
Yeah.
you might go put a petrol in your, or even the local park as well in the summer as well. People sitting on the benches on their own as well
Yep.
you know, any way you can make that little bit of connection, say hello, can I just sit there for a little while and
Yep.
oh, I'm waiting for my break or something like that. So you're making that connection. You'd be so surprised, honestly, you'd be so surprised, what you get from the other person.
Yeah. And speaking of sitting on the park bench, that's a place I try to more respect people's silence because maybe they're just coming to. So I once did the park bench thing, and there's this guy whose eyes were closed or open or both. He was in some kind of meditation. I could tell he was doing some kind of meditation like thing. So I kept my distance, like sat down on the bench next to the bench, my distance, and I just waited and waited. And when he was done with his whatever he was doing, meditating or prayer, whatever, he looked at me. He's like, thanks for respecting the silence for this moment. And I have to go to work and then he's brought up conversation with me, and he appreciated the fact that I appreciated his recognized his like you were speaking of the body language. I could tell he was not lonely, but he wanted some silent moment because we're in the park. And yeah, and we had a quick conversation before met an even better friend because he realized that I was actually not just going around, hey, can I sit with you? Hey, can I sit with you? Hey, can I sit with you? See how many, like, I was just generally recognizing somebody by themselves and wanting to say hello. So, but that's a great tip. Sit with people, ask if you can sit, and, uh, and yeah, I love that tip. Any more great tips like that for breaking the
I would
loneliness
I
endemic?
would also suggest that the main thing, people, some people have got some disability or some reason that they can't go out from home as well, and they always have to be at home for some
Hmm.
reason as well,
Hmm.
and finding that self-esteem and confidence to get outside. They haven't been outside from their home. So I would suggest to those people as well, even people do go outside, why don't you start writing, journaling yourself? Writing journal is a really therapy writing therapy is really good rather you overthinking, you're powering your mind, writing things down, your thoughts, your feelings, and you see on a piece of paper, it's really good because when you start to understand why am I doing it, you can read it very better to find the way as well, clear path of your understanding. What are you feeling? Why are you feeling it? So I think writing journaling is a very, very good therapy as well. It's just like going to your see a counselor. You're going to a completely stranger talking about your own journey. So when you're writing therapy, it's a journey. It's your journey. Journaling is your journey. It's about yourself. So when you write things down, it makes it a bit more clear when you're reading and reflecting it back. So you're
Hmm.
actually clearing your mind as well, not overpowering. So that really helps your mind as well, and it eases off a lot of pressure as well. So I will say to those people as well, start writing things down, and
So
that's
give me
really
an
good.
example or story with an example because as an engineer, I've thought that's a perfect solution to figure out not just loneliness, but depression or my highs and lows, other things going on with me psychologically. I'm like, if I can keep a record, then I can track, I'll have data points, basically, is what you're speaking of. With the description of for that data point, oh, I was feeling great or I was not feeling so great in between. Trouble was, and I should know this as an engineer better. I'm not being really descriptive, or when I'm in it, I'm saying, well, I'm happy today, or I'm sad today. That's not really helpful. Like that's not helping my data. How do you, when you tell people to journal, what do you teach them to make the journal meaningful, such that it's meaningful and useful when they go back and look at it?
Well, first of all, I will say journaling, like I said, it's your journey. It's about part of your journey because you're writing about yourself as well and about what things have happened. Reflecting back on your past, what's happened, and what's stopping you going forward as well. What's going on with your mind as well? How you feeling as well? What's happening? What are you feel of to go forward in your life? What is stopping you? So when you're writing things down, and I always say before you start writing, it's not like writing, sitting there writing pages and pages, A4 paper and everything. No, it's not about that. You pick the page up. Don't forget to write that day's date and the time as well. So it might be that moment, you might write just one word, or you might just write one line, and you might mind what something distracted you. That's fine. Come back, you might come back, close it, sign it, and just put it in a safe place. Or some people just like to carry their journal all about around with them. Because it's your journey. It's about how you feeling, your thoughts, and where are you and where you come. So you might go back to that, journaling 1 week after, 2 months or 1 year, whenever, one day, next day, or the same day as well, a couple hours time. But it's good to because it's like a book. It's your journey. It's like a
Mhm.
book. You go before you go into another page. Pick the pen up. We always go back. Oh, let me just write. See what I said before. So writing the dates down, the time is really important because it's you reflect back. Oh my God, you'd be so surprised. did I really do that? Did I really
Yeah.
write that down? Did that really happen? And look, and how far you've come into your journey.
Yeah.
It gives you your journey, where you are and what's happened and the understanding, what you want to do, how you want to do it, what's your plans, how you feeling? Is that a good feeling? How do you want to,
For me, it was a time when like a 6 week period when I was just on fire, like high on life, feeling great. Like we'd all love to feel like. Literally, I said to myself, Daniel, if you could bottle this, like whatever the recipe is, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever you're not doing, you got to figure out this recipe. So that was when I was keeping this journal, like, where am I? What am I doing? What am I not doing? Like, when am I not at work? Like you said, the dates, the weather, is it sunny? Is it like, I would just keep track of everything so that later, because I knew, you can't stay, you're going to have a bad day, a sad day, a different day, some point. I'm like, I got to remember what's happening right now. So when I get to a low state or a lonely state or whatever, I can read this and go, that didn't help things, or this did, so that I could have some compass, so to speak.
mm. Yep,
Yeah.
definitely. So it's really important when you write the day's date down and the time as well. And just sign it at the end as well. Some people like to, even when they're writing one word as well, some people don't even know how to write as well, or don't know what to write as well. Sometimes it's really good, maybe you just want to draw a picture of it, just a little symbol of it, just to make sense of it, or put things around it as well, like a compass, So it's your journey, it's how you want to journey, it's your journey, it's part of your life as well. So it's your life, your journey. Where do you want to be? What's happened? Circumstances? How can I change this? How you feel? So rather, you're actually pouring it all on a piece of paper, and you're clearing that mind. So you're making that mind relaxed, feeling better. Mentally, you're feeling better, and even you feel better physically as well. And whatever's going with you, in that moment, you'll be so surprised. Your mind will be clean because you've only got one brain, one mind. We're one health as well. So it's really important, how we look after that one brain. It's overpowering, overthinking, and I always say, in my research, generally, it's important people start writing things down, thoughts, because
Do you have an example of something like a journal, either of your own or somebody else, like an aha moment, some that they discovered by reading their journal?
yes, I've read, as a counselor, I always recommend to my clients, always start when they come first to me to see me as well. I always say, well, have you ever heard of journaling? Oh, what is that? Some people might say, oh, what is that? Oh, I've never heard of that, Oh, start writing, write things down and all that. And some people just say, oh, what should I write? And I do anything, whatever comes to your mind. It could be anything, negative, positive, anything. It's your life, your journey. You see with me, you talk about anything. So, I would say, with me, when I still write journaling, when I was lonely as well, I started to write things down. My counselor even recommended to me as well about journaling. And I found it really, really comfortably. Really, I used to write things, what happened to me, where I was, how I was, and where I'm now, and where I wanted to be, how I was feeling as well. So when I'm looking back as well, I can see my life, how far I was, and where I
Oh,
am
that
today.
reminds me of the Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift has this, still has it. She showed it one time when she was young, before she was famous. On her journal, she had four squares, four boxes. Who I am, who I'm going to be, my songwriting career, my superstardom, whatever. The, she was creating who she was going to be actually by
Hmm.
journaling, literally writing about herself before she was famous in the pretense, who I'm going to be, what my songs are going to be like, how they're going to inspire people, where I'm now, my circle of friends now, my circle of friends then. So she was writing about the present moment, but also how she was going to do it, and as well as writing who she was going to be, I believe, like as if it was already happened. Kind of like the Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, how did you
Hmm.
become an actor after you were a bodybuilder? Easy. And with journaling, it would be, I wrote about it as if I was a bodybuilder. I pretended every day I wrote that I was a bodybuilder in my journal.
And also journaling, it really does help though, to be honest. It's really good therapy is
Mm.
because it makes you understand, it makes you look at it when you read back as well, understand, and it makes you also realize, what things that you want in your life going forward and what things that you want to throw away, not want those things as well. So it's
Yeah.
a really good thing, because when you're writing things down, you can read it as well. What things actually resonates for me? What things are really good for me to take forward? What things can I leave behind are not doing really good for me, and they're not really no purpose for me as well. So journaling, I think, very, very good. Everyone's got their own life, personal life. We all go through changes, in a different phase of time as well, obstacles in life. But only we know ourselves personally where we want to be, where our life was, and how we want to, what things that we don't want, and what things that we want to leave behind, and what things we want to carry forward, and in a positive way.
You've said leave behind a couple times,
Mm,
which reminds me of, so in regard to social connections, the lifestyle medicine college also promotes strengthening relationships that bring you meaning and purpose,
mm,
to which it seems to me, as an engineer, that requires two things, not just making new meaningful relationships, but leaving behind, breaking up with those that do not support meaning and purpose in your life, right?
mhm,
In other words, what if you're lonely because the people around you always belittle you, tell you you're not good enough, yell and scream at you, even worse, physical abuse, mental abuse. I'm not speaking just of your partner or your spouse, but your friends, your acquaintances, your work colleagues, right? So you have to, what I'm asking or saying is, what are the strategies for breaking up, leaving behind? Keyword was leaving behind, intentionally making an effort to leave behind, not waiting for people to leave you behind. Leave behind the people that are not supporting purpose in your life. How do you do that? Or talk to me about that part of the equation.
Well, first of all, I would start if people, we come when we start writing things down in a journal. Journal is a very important part of our therapy, a journey. When we start writing things down, a lot of things come into mind that we would never thought in our mind. We never think about it. Things around us, like I said, friends as well, families, colleagues, anybody, even objects as well, activities and things like that. Anything around us, which are putting us down negative, everything's negative. That's when we aspire to negative in as well. So what I will say is, look at it, like, what I was going to say, like, don't, if you're always been a people, find out, are you a people's pleaser? Are you the person always pleasing other people? If you are, think about putting healthy boundaries. Start putting things, small little steps, boundaries, healthy boundaries, and stick to them. Like if you're saying that, that person puts me so down every time I meet that person, I've known them for a very, very long time, but every time I meet and we do things together, I always find that person puts me down. Well, that's something that's putting you down. You're not that what that person's saying. So start making to disconnect from that person, not any purpose from that person to be involved with, round with. Start putting a little boundary. Say, okay, start putting yourself first. Don't knock yourself down. Start put yourself first. Put smaller boundaries. When I mean boundaries, it's like, okay, when that next time that person says, okay, do you want to come out or do you want to? No, make an excuse. I know. You go on your own terms. So
Hmm.
that person know that, you are sticking to and start sticking to them.
Well, your time is, you only have so much time. So you got to
Mm,
choose how you want to spend it.
definitely.
I'm going back to the loneliness concept. Well, if I say no to this person, I'm going to be lonely. Well, you got to decide, like, do I want to not be lonely, but not really make progress in my life to be meaningful and purposeful were the key words that the organization was says we need to strive towards, not just not being alone, but when we're with people, really having meaningful and purposeful relationships. and you gotta not spend them with. You gotta choose how you spend them. So about tell me about texting. Your take on texting, because one side of my brain, logic side says if I text, I'm not alone, but the other side knows if all I do is text, it's better if I pick up the phone and talk to people, right? I will feel less alone talking to people than texting, even though technically texting, I might not be alone. Am I correct with that?
Well, to be honest, sometimes, personally, my own experience, so I find sometimes when you're connecting with texting, sometimes you misunderstood each other as well. And that goes with
Mm.
survive, negative way,
Hmm.
oh, did you
Yeah.
say that? Because you're not even talking properly, you're not explaining. Texting, quite sometimes you might put something, in a mistake, but it's already gone to that person. And then you've got another problem, how that person's going to react to the reaction from the other person. So if I was you, if you're a texter, trying to put a little bit boundaries, try not to text, long, long sentences as well.
Yeah, you get those people who
Yeah.
my mother was one of them. I could tell she was using the speech thing on her phone to translate it to text because it would take me like 2 minutes to read the text. I was like, I'm not even responding. You send me a text that you type in at least, or I'm reading it. I'm not reading it.
Mm. So I will say, look, if you're gonna text, if you're a personal texter, trying to get to the point. Don't make too many long texts, you know what I mean? Long, long. Just get to the point because that will save you a lot of aggro as well. And just get to the point what you try and say to the person or the person you're trying to feed back to. So that was less be misunderstood as well, miscommunication as well. Because sometimes when you're texting, you might be texting and something else distracts you, and you might, oh God, I should have said that. Did I say that? Did I write that?
Your phone picked it up accidentally.
Yeah, your phone's yeah.
At what point, like, can we give people a number, like after three texts, call? At what point do you actually make a phone call instead of, some people never will, is what I'm saying. They will just always text. At what point do you suggest people pick up the phone and make the call? Stop the
Well,
texting.
I would just say, like, keep that, make some boundaries. Make that, if you're a texter, say, look, don't text me. If you want to text me a message, text me this sort of time. Put a time frame. And then no picking text. If you want to call, you have to call me up. If you want to interact with me, call me after a certain time. Then we will speak. Or you will
Hmm.
speak. When is the time I can speak to you? I can't text you this time, but I'd rather talk to you. So start making that communication and trying to avoid reducing all these texts and start communicating even over 2 minutes on the phone. That will make a lot of time. Trying to reduce your texting, trying to keep in the timer scale as well. Keep times on it as well. Okay, you're gonna text me this time, or I'm gonna text you this time. That's it. After that, if you want to communicate with me, I will ring you. Are you free that time? Try to put some boundaries in the if you put more boundaries, the life will be more easier for you and the other person you're
Exactly. So we're
yeah.
tangenting a little bit off the loneliness topic, but in terms of stress and feeling better in your life, there was a month, the whole month, because I live in a small town, and even the town an hour away, my phone company couldn't fix the problem. So for a month, I had no texting capability, only voice. And at first, it was rather frustrating because a lot of the apps, a lot of the programs I use that use authentication, I couldn't get the authentication code, the security, so it was rather frustrating. But I was so relieved not to have to text people,
Mm.
myself texting, because people expect you to text back. The littlest texts take up minutes of your time all day long. And to not have to do any texting myself, to not have to be on my phone texting was astonishing good. Besides the frustration of not being able to get my authentication codes when I needed to go online and do something secure, I was like, wow, all this free time. I don't have to waste it. People are not expecting me to text. And so I did still get my calls, my voice calls, and it was really cool because I could tell who really cared. Like, that's an important call. You called me. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's really important. It's like reducing that to what you do constantly, changing that mindset of your, changing your thinking, changing your behaviors. So it's really important how you think about doing things, reactions as well from the other person as well, who you actually interacting with. Do that person likes to have a communication with you. Why don't you take that time out to ring each other, meet each other, rather texting? Because I find sometimes also texting. Do you not fingers not get tired? Do you not get tired of texting? Because what you're actually doing is you're constantly waiting. When you send a text, you're waiting for that person, constantly looking at your phone. Are you going to get a reply back? Because sometimes you send a text, you might not get a reply back on the same day. You might get
Yeah.
it the next day, you know? So it's really good to trying to break that texting a little bit of your time and that as well. Start making that communication ring at person or voice notes as well, mail note, voice notes as well. Because sometimes if you're texting, that person might get distracted and you're waiting a text, waiting reply back and you'd
Yeah.
be sitting there all day, all night, waiting for this. And then that person communicates you, texts you back the next day or a few days. And there's another misunderstanding. Oh, I was waiting for your text, this and that. Because sometimes texts can just get lost as well in your phone. It's all technology, isn't it? So if you just take your time out, let's talk. If you're busy, I'm free this time. Can we talk to each other by phone? Put a time scale,
Well,
okay, are you?
I just like after so many texts, I maybe have a three text rule or something. I don't know what the number is. I go, this is ridiculous. I call the person,
Hmm.
and sometimes they won't answer. I'm like, seriously, you really you want to keep a text? Fine, then. But I'm not. But I don't text them back then. I think I subliminally given the message. If you don't answer, that means you're busy, which might be they might be busy, so they can only text or not in a quiet location. But whatever. I'm Daniel out. Call me. But so let's back to let's get back into the mindset of the I am lonely because there's a lot of people depressed and lonely, and how they can break out. So and give me some ideas for those people. One that comes to my mind is you must physically because we've been talking about, texting, phone. At some, oh, we did talk about a great one where you go to a community table, you get out to a cafe, sit down. Another one that comes to my mind is just go out the door and go for a walk, meet strangers, right?
Yes, even like, if you're feeling lonely, you'd be surprised how many people out there also in your same shoes as well.
Yes.
So why don't you make that first trying to find out, if you got so busy lifestyle, working constantly, why don't you start making little boundaries for yourself? Like, okay, this time I'm gonna do for my self-care. So it might be like, okay, I haven't had time to join that activity I really enjoyed in the past. So it's time for me to join that, even a little bit of a gym as well. Or there's so many social groups that you can actually join as well. It's all not all about people say it costs a lot of money and this and that. I haven't got financial. No, Google where you are, where area you live in. I'm sure there is so many social activities, group sessions as well, where they meet up once a month. Even your local churches as well. They have like a cup of tea and chit chats. Once a month. So where you actually connecting with live people face to face,
Yeah.
half an hour then, half an hour then, trying to reach out yourself before you start waiting for other people to reach to you, because they might be waiting for you. You know what I mean? So it's always two-way system in a way connecting people. Trying to join the gym, trying to do a activity, go to local, gym somewhere, or you'll go to little local park somewhere, or find out if there's any group session activity events happen once a month or weekly basis where you're connecting with people. So trying to find where you are in the area.
And what about just walking out the door and going for a walk though? Would that work in your where you live?
Definitely. So if you just go for a walk, 10 minutes walk round the corner, trust me, you would definitely meet somebody. Even going for a shop, for just go around to your supermarket, just go out the house, anything to get out the house for 5, 10 minutes. If you haven't got a dog or any pet, just go yourself or go with your family member, your friend, or anybody. Ask your neighbor, do you like walking? Let's go make a connection. Let's make a little like an activity once a week. We're gonna go together, somebody reach out to somebody you haven't actually spoken to for a very long time. Oh, so how are you doing, buddy? What's going
Yeah.
on? Should we
Yeah, like
connect
my
together?
neighbor, he just moved, or he's house sitting. He's in the neighborhood, and I'd ran into him before, but he just returned after being gone for a while, and And I was like, you know what? Text me. I always tell this to everybody. Text me if you want to meet for coffee one day. Because I knew he was back in town just by himself, house sitting. And most people don't take me up on it. I actually got a text from him. Like, yeah, I met him at the coffee shop. But in terms of walking out the door, I think sometimes people think they make it too difficult. They're like, okay,
Mm.
in the morning at this time, I'm going to go for a walk. And then when I go for the walk, if I meet someone, I have to know how to say something, what to say. I'm like, no, just in the what time is it right now? You ready to go? Go put your shoes on, go out the door. Don't worry about what am I gonna say when I see somebody, right?
Yeah, don't worry about that. That's the last thing you need to worry about. The main thing you need to worry about is find a time. Put a slot in your routine, your busy lifetime. Okay, if I finish work this time before dinner, I'm gonna prepare the dinner, whatever you got to do at home. 5 minutes for yourself. Take that 5, 10 minutes. It has to be like walks and walks, hours and hours. That's not walking. So you'd be surprised. You might see on your walks, you might see somebody walking their dog or someone, or
Mm-hmm.
someone just staying at the bus stop. You might just went past them. Oh, hello, how are you? You waiting for the bus? Oh, I just saw the bus. Is this coming
Yeah.
now? 10 minutes, it's on
Oh,
its
that's
way.
great one. That's great
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you're actually helping people too. Like the example you just gave, like the bus just left. Did you know that? So you see
yeah.
someone else sitting at the bus stop and you're the lonely person. This is how easy it is to change the world. You're like, and they didn't realize the bus already left and you saw it leave. And now you've made conversation, a new friend for a moment and helped them because they didn't know the bus left.
Yeah, and then like you just stood there. Oh, I just saw a bus round the corner, so it won't be too long. How long you waiting
Yeah.
there, or make into. So where you going there? No, so that time you might be so surprised, even when you're going for your little walks. Somebody might be with their dog. Oh, that's a nice dog, and oh, thank you very much. So you might be surprised that person. You might be the first person that they've spoken to all day, and they just
Yeah.
come out there, to
It could
do
be
their
that
job.
that person at the bus stop with the dog that you're mentioning too is the lonely person. And
Mm,
you are not the lonely person, right? You're out for your morning jog or your morning bike ride. So
mm.
it works both ways. It's just
Both
basically
ways.
talking to strangers.
Mm. And that strangers becomes your long-term friend, or somebody might just meet on a regular basis on your walks as
Hmm.
well. Somebody might sometimes might need advice from you. That same person, they might be waiting for you to, I'll come along. That person comes a regular walk, So
Yeah.
relationships are two-way systems. So not always wait for that person to connect with you. Why don't you start connecting to other person as well? Find out what's going on, what's other person's to say. They'd be really, really because, like I said in the beginning, when we're human beings, we live in a multicultural society. We're not mind readers, and we can't see inside. We can't see what people are thinking because our mind is inside. It's a hidden mind. So it's really good to speak out, speak, say anything. Nothing is silly. Don't feel really bad like that. Anything can anything. Even a hello and just walk past or just stand there if you can.
Mhm.
Hello, how are you? Oh, it's been rainy today. How's the weather? Oh, it's really good today. You'd be so surprised, how much smile that person, by looking at their faces, how they've lightened up because you've said hello to them. And you might be the first and last person that they've had spoken to all day, and makes a lot of difference as well.
What do you
Even for
think
yourself
about?
as well.
Oh, yeah, it always makes me feel better when I
Mm.
talk to. I just like to talk to people, and I am an introvert again, the shyest person ever. People are like, you don't seem shy. I'm like, well, that's because we're talking now, and but I had to make the effort. Yeah, hello, I'm Daniel. Or what are you doing on your computer and your phone that's so interesting? Can I, bring me into your world? I had to make the effort. Let's talk about people who in America and probably there, they all don't want to go back to work after the pandemic. They want to work from home more, don't want to do the drive commute or go to work because they feel it's not productive. And part of that's correct, but also I think part of it might be affecting people's loneliness and that not everybody is staying home to take care of a family. Some people are by themselves. What's your opinion on that? Is it is loneliness hell is it making the situation worse in terms of loneliness by only having a 3-day work week, for example.
Yes, I think so. If you work for some person works from home, and you've got no choice, some reason, you work from home now, and but I would just say to them, even if you finish work as well over lunchtime as well, I'm sure you get a break in that time, even when you're working from home as well. I'm sure you get a break as well. You know, make a connection, ring the person somebody up, that you work connect at work, outside of work as well, or in that work as well, and they might be on a break as well. Go outside for a little walk, go in the fresh air as well. Don't just stay inside. If you're working from home as well, if you're having a break as well, 5 minutes, go outside for that break, and come back, and don't feel that, that all the time you have to be at home because you're working from home. And that's your basically go out as well. Even after work, you finish early or something, go out for that little walk, go out, even buying something in the grocery shop, just get yourself out of fresh air.
But what I mean though is also one of my question was, do you think it's making the loneliness situation worse by not going back to a 5-day work week where you have to go to work?
Yes, definitely, definitely, because that person, stops all the connection goes in the outside where you've been doing that routine, going to work is your main routine. You get up, you're connecting with the community, you're working outside from home as well. And all suddenly you stopped yourself going that routine out the door. That routine's, suddenly stopped and you're at home as well. So that can
Yeah.
make you feel a lot alone as well. So that what I would say to that people as well with that, so if there's any circumstances people have to stay at home, for some reason, but still trying to make that self-care to get outside as well, make that connection, keep that connection outside as well
Hmm.
with those people in that workplace. Keep that communication going with your work colleagues as well, even though you don't see them on a regular basis. Make that friend because you've always been with them all the time. So keep that connection open. Communication is really, really powerful and very important as well, even if it's any circumstance you have to stay at home as well. But keep that communication.
How about this one? Back to the phones. Another question for you. Some in America have proposed that a solution to the problem, because I'm a solution guy, I like to focus on the solutions, not complain all the time about the problems. And they're like, well, we'll make it a law that someone's kids can only be on the phone so much of the time. Like literally, if you're at home, like a federal law, like your kids aren't allowed to watch TV so much. But at schools, let's say, take away the phones, which I think is good. Take away the phones at school. But I think anytime you force something on someone, kids will find a way, people will find a way. What's a better answer than limiting? What's a better way to encourage people to connect more person to person than to mandate you can't use your phone here?
I think it's best way is to the communication is a powerful key. The way we communicate to each other, the way we explain things to why this is important to not have your phone this certain time, and this certain is really good for your health as well, your physical and your mentally. This time if you can't, the kids can't have it at school, but you can always have it when you've come from school as well. This time, so I think the key important is having very good, healthy boundaries and healthy communication with each other to understand, not shouting and lashing
Hmm.
and putting that aggressive boundary onto that some person. Obviously, like you said, then they're gonna find a way of finding your that
Yeah,
phone as
I
well.
just thought
Yeah,
of one because I'm a troublemaker.
yeah.
Me and my brother were troublemakers in school. I would make a game out of it. Meaning, okay, the law is it's not that you can't be on your phone and we're not going to take your phones, but if at any point anybody is on their phone, or unless everybody, if there's at any point somebody who is not on their phone, you have to put your phone away. So if everybody was on their phone, it would work perfectly. But if I wanted to be the troublemaker, or if I was a lonely person and just wanted to put my phone away and look around, everyone would have to stop, put their phone away.
That's going to be a bit too tricky, though. If you're a lonely person, you can put the phone away and you expect other people to do it. I think that's going to be a very, very hard, tricky solution for you to do that because that's putting yourself like your aggressive way. You if I've done it, I expect other people to do it. That's
Hmm.
not the way to do it because that's never going to happen as well.
No, but
Um,
I would frame it. You got a good point there. The lonely person would, you don't want to do that if you're lonely. I'm not the lonely person. I'm the person that sees someone lonely and I recognize that body language. I'm on my phone. I have something to do that's actually quite important, but I put my phone down. I'm not the because I'm calling attention to the lonely person who is on their phone. Now they have to put their phone down. They're forced, even though they don't want to put their phone down. They're the shy person, as is everybody else. We recognize the situation as a community collective. I'm just the leader. As the leader, I go, you know what? Time to put the phone down. I'm not being told by the principal or society or law you can't use your phone, or by the restaurant I go to I can't use my phone. I I'm empowering. We're empowering to do something, not being told to do something. That kind of thing.
Yes, that's a different scenario. You said yes. So if you put your phone down, you expect the person to put them, go approach them, explain them why you're saying this, why is it, it's a good benefit for you as well, because now we could connect with each other without our phones. I put my phone because I want to connect with you as a for person to person to communicate, talking to each other. Let's do things together, connect. Why don't you put your phone? So find out why that person's not putting their phone. What is the reason behind that screen as well? What is the benefit they're getting that from there? What are they actually seeing on a daily basis? What is going through that? What is going through? Make that connection from why you not put. I put my phone down. How comes you're not putting your phone down? What's going on
Thing that
there?
comes to mind is
Yeah.
because Daniel, this is a true story. Because I'm making a lot of money on TikTok with my videos. I'm like, oh,
Mm.
okay. Well, why are you here? Like, why aren't you like at home doing TikTok on? Because I mean, they're doing it everywhere at the restaurant, at the cafe, at the bus stop. They're all have people on their phones. Because I think part of the problem is social media
Mm.
has such a claw into people, addictive to that. They can't get off of it. But of course, it's contributing to this loneliness thing.
Mm.
Unplugging from that. So, so to summarize, and then I'm going to get into your book. There's light at the end of the tunnel at loneliness. To summarize, though, for people, before we talk about your book, what are again what's my homework? Like I'm lonely. Pretend I am the lonely person. What do I do?
Firstly, I would like to say recognize why you're lonely. What is the reason behind that? Is it something that you've actually, bought like when you was born and you've carried it along with you, part of your journey, bringing up as well? Where's that lonely? What is creating that lonely for you to be lonely? What is going around with you? Accept that you need help as well, that you need help, you need support to understand why you're feeling that way, what has happened, or you feel something's going to happen, what is around you. Find why. The biggest thing is why you're feeling it, what is happened, or what is you feel going to happen, or what is happening around you, what is making you feel lonely. Is it something that someone's saying, or something that you've got in profession with you, or someone, find out why the word is why.
What if it's just I'm not good at making friends? I'm not good at talking to strangers. I have no friends. I'm not good at being social.
So find out why. Where's this all created from? Is it from when you was in the nursery? Where did it start? When did it start? Did you primary school? Is this
Bullies.
something?
How about bullies? Like I got bullied. People bully me at school. People bully me at work. I just don't like to pick the battles, so I've decided to shut down.
Yeah. So if I say that as well, find out, why, why is that, did you get the support to when you was feeling like, well, when did that first happen? What happened? Did you get the support? Did that person get in trouble? Did you report it to anybody? Did somebody listen to you? Did you get the support?
Say it's second grade and I got beat up and teacher didn't do anything and I just want to go to school at work and do my own thing and not cause trouble. So I'm shutting down. I'm just going to do my schoolwork. I'm going to get out of there. I'm just going to do my work. I'm going to get out of there. And I'm doing a great job at school and work, but now I'm lonely. How do I fix that?
So if you've got a very good relationship with, find out who's your good relationship with. Is it your parents? If you've got siblings, or it's another friend that you know, more than one friend you got out there. Have you got a good relationship with a headmaster, not your teacher? Find out who's a good relationship with that you've got, and reach out to that person, either next door neighbor, your friend, another friend, or your sibling, your parents, or your GP, any other professional in your school. But reach out. Don't, isolate yourself, or just do your job and ask, this is what I need to do.
Yeah, so when you say reach out, I'm pretending now I'm the lone guy. I'm doing two situations here. One, I'm the young kid at school, the one I'm the older one at work. Uh, which one should we take here? Let's do the school, the young people. Uh, I have no friends. When you say reach out, what exactly, how do I do that?
Well, if you haven't got friends, or you feel that you haven't got friends, but you do, because you need to reach out. Like when I say reach out, you know, look around you, who you can reach out. Who do you have the good relationship with? And I'm sure there is somebody out there that you have a very good relationship with. So
Hmm.
if it's not for some nobody from school, I'm sure there's somebody at home, your parents or one of your siblings. If you haven't got siblings, you're the only child, maybe somebody you're related to, your cousin, or somebody that you interact with, somebody, your neighbors, or anybody you interact with on a daily basis. You see them. I would say, if you got a good relationship with that person, definitely would go back to could definitely reach out to those people. Even if you can't speak to somebody in your community or your family, you're feeling that side as well. They might think, different of you. I would say definitely, like myself, I reached to my parents, and then my parents took me to my GP. If you haven't got a really good relationship with your parents, I just feel that you got really, I'm sure there's somebody out there.
Well,
Even going to your,
so my parents, this true story. My parents say you need more friends. So what they did was they drove me around the neighborhood and they're like, you're gonna knock on every door here till you find someone to play with. And I did. I finally found some. Oh yeah, you can play with our kid. So I'm playing with this kid. I'm actually starting to feel good now. I made a new friend. You know what he did? I started to be too happy. And he's like, "Oh, that's my toy, my bike, my football helmet. You can't wear it." He wasn't that way until he actually saw how much joy I was finally engaging with someone. And for some reason, he I don't know what his problem was. To which I went back to, you know what? I don't need people. I don't need to make friends.
Hmm. So I would just say that if you find it difficult to, like, the friendship, you had a bit of a problem before, something triggered, something happened, challenges came before making friends in between your friends, the trust is gone, building that trust with friends as well, or anyone in the community. I would definitely just reach to your professional GP then, try,
We don't have one.
yeah.
Didn't have one. All right. But this is what I'm saying. Like when you say reach out, I'm putting myself in the picture again. I would just like would I'd go to the principal and say kids are mean to me. They don't want to play with me. I probably did that, and he's probably like Daniel. Um. I think what I think it
Mm.
needs to be flipped around. It's the lonely person is lonely because it's the people that need to treat people better. The solution, I think, is people need to treat others better. Uh, okay, so part two of summarizing, I wanted to ask
Mm.
you, we summarized for the lonely person what they can do, and you gave us some things. What can the people, the rest of society do different? To
I think it's a,
summarize. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a society needs, like I said, we live in a multicultural society. And that stigma as well, I think we people need to be less judgment as well, less selfish as well. A lot of ego going on, and trying to put yourself in that person's shoe, you know, and trying to learn to be a bit more kind and humble. to each other. And
Yeah.
so we can live a better life as well into society, a better place, make the living better place for yourself and for other people as well. And also look at yourself, how would you like to be treated? So if you want to be treated nicely and spoken nicely to, and say things nice you expect other people to be nice to you and say things nice to you and treat you nicely. So why don't you try to do that to other people as well?
Yeah. You know what comes to mind
Yes.
is why? And
Mm.
at first I'm like, well, good point. Why is it my problem? Well, why is global warming your problem if you believe in global warming? Why is recycling your problem if you believe it's a problem? You do things to help the planet and to help make the theoretically you think you do things to make the world a better place. Hello, this is one of them, right?
Mm.
I think people don't
Yes.
realize how important this is, maybe.
Yes, of course. Yes. And education is very important as well. We need to educate ourselves as well, into this as well. And we care about the environment, but really, do we really care about the environment?
Hmm.
What about how we talk to each other as well? So
Yeah.
that's important as well. Modern need to communicate to each other. Communication is really, really key power thing, to speak to each other. So I think we should treat people how we would like to be treated as well from other people. We expect a lot of people to do things for ourselves. We expect a lot of things from other people. So what about we put ourselves in that person's shoe, how we want
Yeah.
to treat other people.
I think what you're saying is the key point.
Mm,
Maybe in general, the people trying to solve this loneliness problem are focusing too much on or as much on the lonely person. Here's what you can do, go to WhatsApp, go to Meetup, get out of the house. When in fact, it's really the as big a part of the problem, the solution to the problem is the people who are not lonely. They need to, well, I don't, it was something Jesus said, and there's a lot of religious figures that will probably have said something similar to encourage people to love your neighbors or something like that. Like you said, treat people the way you wanted to be treated.
mm,
But it's got to be proactive. It seems like people kind of are just kind of kicking back, like, yeah, I treat people good. Yeah, I treat people. You didn't recognize, um, like like uh, like Sukhvinder, like you said, recognize the body language. You're not doing it. You're not being as good as you think you are. You think you're being. We can improve as a society, right?
yes, definitely. You let step by step. I think we are getting there. We started to, but we've got a very long way,
Yeah.
and it's just like mental health. It's a stigma. People don't want to talk about it, but we want to talk about other stuff as well. But it's a stigma. We need to break that stigma, break that barriers now. Let's start talking.
Yeah, there's a
Communicate.
very big possibility
Yes.
that the mental health is
Mm,
connected to the loneliness because at the beginning of our
mm,
conversation, it almost seemed like we were talking about depression and
mm.
mental health in the same sentence while we're saying it's loneliness, the symptoms. So if the mental health problem is connected to the loneliness problem, and it's as simple as when you see your neighbor going by themselves on a walk, you're walking your dog, you say hello. I mean, it's not that hard to do, solve this problem. So tell me about your book. There is light at the end of the tunnel. You can hold it up. There's light at the end of the tunnel of loneliness. And it's a picture of a guy walking on railroad tracks in a dark tunnel towards the light. He's walking towards the light. There's hope uh, at the end of the tunnel. So tell me when the writing process, what did you decide to put in it? How did you decide what you were going to put in your book? What's in the book?
Okay, so I put this is a self-help book. So when I mean by self-help book, where everything was managed to help me to combat my loneliness, I wanted to reach out to people who wanted support and help as well to combat their loneliness and live a happy life like myself.
Hmm.
So I created this self-help book for every single person. And so when they pick this book up, they'll have things that I'm used to combat my loneliness. I wanted to give things back that I've managed my loneliness so they can actually live a happier life as well. So when I mean things, I mean strategies, resources, organizations that they can reach out to all over the world. This book is it's all over the world for every single person.
Hmm.
So they can actually use things out there that everything I used to. So I wanted to put things for them as well, that everything I've used and helped me, as I wanted to help them as well, to use them as well, to support them as well.
It'll be in the show notes also, where you can get it on Amazon, where you can find it. The link to it, the link to it on Amazon will be in the show notes. Is there anything we haven't talked about that you want to add in your book or in your mind, or if you want to take a moment to think of everything we've been talking about, whether someone is lonely, what they can do, or if just someone's like, yeah, I get it. I understand now why we're gonna make the world better, just like I recycle and I care about the universe, the planet Earth. I'm gonna do this for strangers, talk to strangers. Anything we haven't talked about that you wanna add?
Well, my book is on Amazon. It's all across the world. It's for every single person. All the money I'm raising from my book is going to the mental health charities. And it's got my personal details in the book so people can reach out to me to say hello and how they're finding the book as well, or whatever they want to say. I'm actually a qualified counselor as well.
Hmm.
So it'd be really nice to hear from them as well. Please do leave a review on Amazon when they do reach the book as well. It's on Kindle as well. It's on hard copy as well. But I will say, if you are hurting, my book can be a source of healing, a reminder you all that hope and joy is always within reach. I want this book to be a powerful beacon of hope, reminding you all that even in the darkest time, there is always light. You're not on your own. I care, and that's why I wrote this book for every single person. We all
Hmm.
care. You're not alone, you know.
I just thought of another tip or idea if you're lonely, because a lot of things seem to be people are shopping online. It's the holiday season. People shop online. They shop everything people buy on Amazon these days. Even if you don't buy it in a store, you can go to the mall, go to the store, get out of the
Yes.
house.
Yeah, just if you don't want to buy, it's on Kindle as well, so you don't have to buy the hard copy as well on Amazon. So you can actually read it on Kindle as well.
That's another idea. You could
Yeah.
take a snapshot of the book on Amazon, take it to your local bookstore, say, can you order this for me? And they can. And even if you don't, and they don't want to, you would at least, if you're lonely, this is something to do. You get offline and you go physically talk to people.
Yes, and if you're not feeling lonely, but you know somebody who's feeling lonely, please do reach out to those people and talk about this book. This book is for every single person. Do mention the book as well. Yeah, so yeah, I would really, really recommend the book itself. It will save a lot of money and time to go into a qualified counselor, because sometimes you can't even reach a counselor. So this book, it will help everything. It's got every single everything in there to support you before you even get to if you can't get to a professional counselor. This book has all the answers in there for you to help you. Self-help book, and this book is always going to be with you. So every time you're going to feel lonely, reach the book out. This book is a comfort book. It's got every single thing in there: strategies, resources, top tips, skills, organizations. It's got absolutely everything in there. So I really, really recommend, please do reach out, for the book, and tell everybody about the book and leave a feedback, and to reach out to me as well, because I care. I went through it. I know what it feels like, and you're not on your own. It's everything, I know that's why I wrote everything. This book is for you guys, for every single person across the world.
Nice. Thanks so much for being on my show, Sukhvinder. It's been enlightening, and I hope your book helps a lot of people. I know the work you do helps a lot of people, and good luck with it all.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been absolutely a pleasure, honored. Thank you very much for having me, though. Thank you very much for your time, though. Appreciate you guys. Yeah. And, yeah, thank you very much. It's been meant a lot to me, yeah, for your time as well. And, yeah,
Thank you. Have a great day.
thank you. Take care. Thank you.